Tom, we have a couple segments left, and I'm just going to let you sit back, go make some popcorn, chill out for a minute or two, man. This was my favorite segment from last year. We did it a couple times. I remember absolutely raging about the lack of usage for Tony Pollard last year. I was mad about some things. It's time to bring back Figure It Out. So in this segment, I like to tell some people that they need to figure it out. Now I'm going to a couple of disclaimers here, right? I'll start with this. Hindsight's 2020, right? I understand after the games are over, we have that advantage of that perspective. I can go back and say, what if? I also understand I'm a 31-year-old high school history teacher, right? And these NFL coaches, sure, they know 200 more times or 200 times more about the game than I do. But my goodness, Tom, these guys, some of the coaching decisions I've seen, some of the plays I've seen, the timeout usage, the clock management this year, they make me want to say, Tom, NFL coaches, figure it out. How hard can it be, right? Because some of these coaches, man, that I'm about to talk about, they make it look as hard as rocket science combined with neurosurgery, combined with trying to convince my wife not to spend more money at Target, combined with 10 other impossible things, because that's how they look. We're starting with this, Tom, okay? Because this guy, I'm sorry, I respect him as a human being, fine. Arthur Smith and the Falcons, I don't know what you're doing. Oh, cool, Arthur. Remember 2 weeks ago, Tom, they were 2-0. He's like, I don't care about your fantasy team. You think Drake London cares about your fantasy team? Oh, cool. Cool statement when you're 2-0. You've made that pretty clear. Great. But do you care about your actual team? Because since then, since you made that tough guy remark, right, you're 0-2, right? Now you're 2-2. The Falcons got smacked by the Lions 20-6. They scored 0 touchdowns and totaled 183 yards. Last week, they go to London, right? They get beaten by the Jags. They get embarrassed by them 23-7. They scored 1 touchdown. I'm sick of, Tom, if me or you were on the sideline, I swear we would do a better job. His constant misuse of this other freaking worldly talent. Let's talk about that. Drake London this year, Tom, 11 catches on 22 targets for 126 yards. Guy was an 8th overall pick. Kyle Pitts, I'm going to get sick about. 11 total catches this year, 21 targets, 121 yards, okay? And I'm watching this game, of course, because I got Bijan all over the place, so I'm fired up about it. One of the rare opportunities, the Falcons, when the Falcons get in the red zone, it's like, hallelujah, holy moly, this is crazy, right? One of the rare occasions, right? What do? I see Bijan trotting off the field. They got 1st and 10 from like the 14. They call either a draw or a counter to Tyler Algier, in which they go backwards 5 yards. You're not going to have Bijan on the field when you're in the red zone. It's disgusting. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Tom, you know who their leading receiver is on the Falcons? This year's leading receiver, for God's sake.
I have no idea. Is it Bijan?
No, it's Jonnu Smith.
Of course.
Okay. How sickening is that? And here's the other thing. Like, fine. You could blame Desmond Ridder for being the problem, which it is, because the guy's horrendous. He's 28th ranked with his QBR at 77.9. Why is he still the starter? I'm begging them, put Taylor Heineke in, do something different. Like Smith even sat, I don't know if you saw this in the preseason, Arthur Smith sat Ridder in the preseason because he thought that he was like ready. He's going to rest his starters up. And then at halftime last week and after the game, Smith says it's no question that Ridder's their guy moving forward. So listen, if Arthur Smith won't bench Ridder, then the blame is just squarely on him. Like, I don't know what the solution is aside from do something differently. But Tom, I'm out of breath. Arthur Smith needs to figure it out. All right. It's bad.
They could sign Carson Wentz.
Sign anybody. Sign the high school quarterback from my high school. Do something differently. Arthur Smith, I despise him as an NFL coach. All right, I got a couple more here, Tom. These won't be as dramatic or as long, but talk about the Steelers and Mike Tomlin and Matt Canada. So here's some interesting information for you. So since Matt Canada was named the offense coordinator in Pittsburgh, the Steelers, here are their ranks for the last 3 years in yards per play. 2021, 28th. 2022, 27th. This year so far, 27th. They are absolutely terrible. He's the guy, Matt Canada, is literally allergic to first downs. It's disgusting. His plays are predictable. They're dry. They lack any type of creativity at all. Their offensive line is not great, but they have weapons on this team. I get it. Deontay Johnson's hurt, but you got Najee Harris, who, by the way, is washed up. You have Jalen Warren. You have George Pickens. You have even Allen Robinson. You have Freiermuth. You have some weapons on this team. They got to do something different, man. I'm sick of it, Tom, and I know this is coming more from a fantasy standpoint, but still, even from an NFL standpoint, it's getting bad there. Next one, I got like 2 more for you here. The Jets coaching staff, speaking of terrible usage, I can't watch Tom anymore. Dalvin Cook get the ball. The guy is washed up. He's been washed up for 2 years.
Anymore.
Are the Jets blind? He's slow. He's got zero explosiveness. At this point, the Jets are desperate for big plays and offense. They need to target Garrett Wilson. I don't care if they throw the ball over his head 15 times. Target Garrett Wilson 30 times a game. Keep Dalvin Cook the hell off the field, right? Dalvin Cook this year, 30 carries for 74 yards. Do the math. An average of 2.5 yards per carry. 2.5 yards per carry? That's disgusting. My dog Lola would average more. Actually, she might be a good NFL running back. But he has been so bad. Of course, I get it, Tom. We talk about Breece Hall, right? They want to ease him back in. He looks pretty healthy. He looks pretty damn good. Breece Hall this year, 32 carries for 210 yards. That's 6.6 yards per carry. One of the best in the NFL. Feed him the ball. Rely on your freaking awesome defense. You might have a fighting chance at being at 500. But if I see Dalvin Cook get the ball again, I don't know what I'm going to do, Tom. I'm going to get sick. It's bad. Figure it out, Jets. And I got a couple honorable mentions here, okay? The Giants' usage of Darren Waller, it should be a criminal offense. It should be someone should go to jail for this. Okay, he leads the team in targets. Great, that doesn't say much because he's got 23 targets on 15 catches. What are we doing? We signed this guy to block. We signed this guy as a sideline entertainer. I don't know what they're doing with Darren Waller. Next honorable mention is Brandon Staley. I don't know what you're doing. How can coaching be this hard? They go for it twice, back-to-back weeks. They go for it on 4th down from their own territory and don't get it. It's just bad coaching. And then another one that my friend Jesse, shout out to you if you're listening here. I don't know if you watched the Jags-Falcons game last week. The amount of times that they just handed Travis Etienne the ball and he ran literally between, like right in the A gap, like right up the middle, right? It was unfathomable. Probably 15 times. Travis Etienne up the middle. That's not the player he is. Travis Etienne is not a guy that's going to plow through people. He's a guy you need to get in space. How hard can it be to give him a pitch, throw the ball to him in the flat? Last week, Tom, 20 carries for 55 yards, 2.8 yards per carry for Travis Etienne, had 3 catches for 17 yards. How did they not notice that he's a guy that you need to get outside? Line him up in the slot. Give him a pitch. Give him a counter. Give him a sweep. Do something different. Tom, I need you to take over here. I'm out of breath. These people need to figure it out, Tom. I hope you enjoyed that little segment.
I have 2 comments. One about the Steelers and Matt Canada. I went to Canada on vacation this summer, and it was awesome.
That's your comment?
Yes.
Okay.
For the Jets, I actually, in a team that I'm 4-0, this is my best team. It's a dynasty league, deep rosters. Justin Herbert's my quarterback. He's on a bye. I'm starting Zach Wilson this week.
Who do the Jets play this week? Let's see. Week 5, the Jets play. They play the Broncos. I mean, yes. it could be worse. It could be worse, Tom.
My other option is Tannehill, and I'm sure as hell not starting him.
No, thank you. Okay, Zach Wilson is your locked-in starter for the week. Okay.